He was a gunman, gang leader, robber, murderer, most wanted, prison escapee, and a womanizer. He lived by the gun and he died by the gun. His name was Dennis Barth, popularly called Copper due to his preference for the use of copper bullets. In this video, I take you on a visit to his grave. I am Nigel D. Salmon. You are watching Jamaican Chapter. So, Dennis Copper Barth was born on Sunday, September 16, 1951, in the Victoria Jubilee Hospital on North Street, Kingston. He attended Rennock Lodge Elementary School. At age 12, he decided not to continue in school. Dennis Copper Barth, or simply Copper, was influenced by the lifestyles of criminals in the neighborhoods of West Kingston. In his young mind, a life of crimes would bring faster money than legal means. By age 15, Copper was of no fixed address for long and had joined with other like-minded males to commit illegal activities. Here are some of the known crimes Copper was involved in. The murder of Andrew Barton. Andrew Barton was a 20-year-old engineering student at the College of Arts, Science, and Technology. On the early morning of Sunday, February 19, 1967, he and his girlfriend, Carleen Chung, were relaxing at a spot on the Palisados Road when Copper and 3 other males approached them with no good intention. Copper and his cronies harassed and robbed Andrew Barton and his girlfriend. A struggle ensued, and Andrew Barton was shot in the left hip and chest. He died on the spot. The 15-year-old Copper and his cronies were arrested and charged for the murder of 20-year-old Andrew Barton. On Tuesday, November 21, 1967, Copper was freed of the murder charge after his lawyer made a no-case submission to the judge during the trial. Only one of the cronies was convicted in court for the murder, and that was 18-year-old Maloney Gordon, because he was the one who pulled the trigger. Maloney Gordon was sentenced to death on November 22, 1967. But it was not the death sentence that would take his life. Maloney Gordon was shot dead on April 7, 1977, 12 days after he escaped prison. Another crime that Copper was involved in was the murder of Corporal Jasper Simmons. Sitting in the back of a stolen motor car along Constant Spring Road, Copper observed Corporal Jasper Simmons walking by. Copper opened the back door and with 1 foot out, he shot Officer Simmons. He then went over to the officer and shot him 2 more times and then stole the officer's revolver before escaping in the stolen motor car. Copper was soon after arrested, identified by a witness, and charged for the murder of Officer Jasper Simmons. In early July 1969, Copper was sentenced to life in prison for the gun slaying of Officer Jasper Simmons. Copper was also good at escaping from prison. Prison could not hold him back. He escaped from the St. Catherine District Prison in February 1973. Of course, he was recaptured in Tivoli Gardens in April of the same year. Copper escaped from the St. Catherine District Prison again on March 1977 and never went back to prison. Throughout his criminal reign, Copper had become notorious for his shootout with police. He was not afraid to take on the police in a shootout. He was notorious also for his daring robberies, the shooting and killing of both civilians and police officers, and in the 1970s was known as the leader of the Hot Steppers gang. He was sentenced for several serious crimes: robbery with aggravation, wounding with intent, murder, shooting of police officers, and so on. It was the night of Saturday, April 29, 1978. Copper and some other notorious badmen had planned to rob the racetrack at Caymanas Park. They planned on robbing all the money made that day at the racetrack. If the robbery went according to plan, it would have been the biggest heist of Copper's criminal career. It was a difficult task ahead, but Copper and the other bad men were confident. With fully loaded guns and prior experiences in robbery, they believed they could pull it off. They believed they could rob the racetrack. One of the bad men who went with Copper to rob Caymanas racetrack was the young Derek Adair, aka Shabba. Derek Adair Shabba was also a notorious figure. He was responsible for murders of police officers, other murders, robbery, and shootings. He made it to the most wanted list in 1978 along with Copper. Shabba would live 49 days after the tragic death of Copper at Caymanas racetrack. 49 days before he was shot and allegedly strangled by police officers on Tuesday, May 23, 1978 in Tivoli Gardens. As most of you already know, Copper lost his life in that failed attempt to rob the day's income at Caymanas racetrack. Copper was shot in the heart by this officer. 29-year-old acting corporal of police, Keith Moss. So I'm here with the caretaker, Mr. Armstrong. And it's a cemetery that holds some very famous names, you know. So, Mr. Armstrong, tell us about some of the other famous persons who are buried here.
We have like Oswald Williams, Count Azzy.
Yeah, Count Azzy, I want to do a
I think
story.
he was a drummer, Jamaica great.
Yeah, so drummer, band leader, Rastafarian, yeah.
And you have people like Glenn Vincent, who is the founder of the Glenn Vincent Clinic.
Yeah,
And Mr. Levy, I think is the best dressed chicken.
wow.
And some other big names, the Azan,
The Azans,
Elias
yeah.
and Violet Azan. Those are the founders of the Azan group.
Yes.
And many others.
So in terms of we are covering Dennis Copper Barth, persons in his category. Are there any other
Yes, there are plenty, even from this community.
Yes.
Yes. You have like Patrick Edward, alias Nevercrow.
Yes.
He was from this community.
Yes.
Tonto, Kevin Cargill, and a host of others.
Yes. So how old is this cemetery?
In operation from 1968.
Oh, 1968, yes. Yeah.
Both burial and cremation.
Cremation, yeah.
The first crematorium in Jamaica, and I think it's Caribbean at that time.
Oh, yes. From 1968. 1968, wow. Yes.
It is owned and operated by Sam Isaacs.
Sam Isaacs, yes. Okay, so that's very interesting. Some interesting information here. So persons who you might have somebody here who was buried here. Come and check it out. You have the caretaker here. There are workers here who can help you to find who you are looking for. And I am at the place where Dennis Copper Barth was buried. Now, as I have seen in that short clip there, you see how he died and what made him famous. And you also can check out the two videos that I have done on him, his cause of death, and also another longer video where I spoke about the police officer who Copper lost his life to. But as you know, in this video, we are visiting his resting place here in Shooters Hill. here in St Andrew. It's a huge cemetery. Huge cemetery. And here in the section from the 1970s, we find the resting place of the man himself, Dennis Copper Barth. Copper. I was told that he was called Copper because he used to use copper bullets. So they decided to call him, nickname him Copper. So here we are at his grave here in Shooters Hill. And he has been here from, as you know, 1978. His grave is grilled around, so he's not neglected in death. All right, so let's get closer and find out more about the man himself. This is my first time gonna know when he was born. I didn't know that. I couldn't find it online. But here we are, and his grave is still intact, good condition. And here it says, in loving memory of Dennis Barth. And they have Copper. I usually pronounce it with a O. It's here Cappa, Copper. Sunset, the 16th of the 9th, 1951. So that's the 16th of September, 1951. To sunset, the 29th of the 4th, 1978. So that's the 29th of April, 1978. And of course, there's something else written on his headstone here, and it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference, sadly missed by family and friends. So this is the resting place of the man. So many YouTubers spoke about him, of course, including many of your famous YouTubers. But I decided in my third video on him to visit his resting place, and it's here at Shooters Hill in St Andrew. Alright guys, so I've just shown you the resting place of Dennis Copper Barth. Notorious for his activities, and this is his resting place. There are many controversies as to how he died. I know in my videos some of you said he was shot by another crony, some said he was shot by a police officer, but this is his resting place, the man, Dennis Copper Barth. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I see you again in another interesting video like this.